I knew the sound of my mother's voice too well, the careful sweetness she used when she wanted something. That morning, it came through the phone like sugar poured over poison. "Sweetheart," she said, "we'll keep the money safe. Don't worry." I didn't worry, not really. I just watched the sunlight crawl across the kitchen counter, touching the envelope that held the deposit slip. $1 million. The down payment for the house I'd dreamed of since I was 23. The house I'd promised myself I'd buy once I made it out of debt, out of heartbreak, out of them. But I needed the funds to clear before closing, and my bank's hold would take days. Mom offered to hold it in her home safe. My sister, Lena, texted hearts and smiley faces. "We'll protect it for you. Family first." Family first. I should have laughed then. When I was younger, Mom used to call me her steady one. Lena was the wild one, the charmer who could lie without blinking. I was the quiet one who fixed things, cleaned up messes, paid bills when Mom's boyfriends didn't. When Dad died, I paid for the funeral. When Mom's roof leaked, I handled the repairs. When Lena crashed her car, I wrote the check. They always said they'd pay me back. They never did. Or I told myself I didn't. Because I believed in loyalty, a foolish kind of loyalty that feels like love when it's really guilt in disguise. The morning after I left the money, the house was empty. Front door unlocked, coffee cups still warm, safe wide open, cold steel gleaming. And the note, written in my mother's looping handwriting. "Thanks for your cash. Now we can finally live our dream life." I stood there for a long time, the paper trembling in my hand. My first instinct wasn't rage, it was relief. Because it confirmed what I'd known for years. They never loved me. They loved what I could give them. Then I laughed. Not the manic kind, the quiet kind that slips out when everything finally makes sense. Because the bag they took, it didn't hold $1 million, not a single bill. 2 weeks before, I'd gone to the bank to make the withdrawal. But as I watched the teller count the stacks, I realized something. I didn't trust my family enough to let them near this kind of money. Not anymore. So I made 2 withdrawals, one real, one staged. The real million went into a private escrow under a new LLC, in my name only. The staged one, the one I took home and left in Mom's safe, was filled with counterfeit bills printed for a film production I'd been consulting on. Same weight, same texture, completely worthless. I even left the deposit receipt on top, the perfect bait. When they ran, I didn't call the police. I didn't post about it. I let silence do the work. A week later, I filed an insurance claim for the stolen cash, a claim that would trigger an investigation. The insurer would contact the police. The police would trace the fake serial numbers on the bills to the film production. The production company would confirm the bills were props, stolen property, which meant my mother and sister weren't just thieves. They were in possession of counterfeit money. Federal crime. I tracked them through Lena's Instagram. She couldn't resist showing off the new chapter. Cocktails by a resort pool, matching gold anklets, captions about freedom and rebirth. I watched quietly, every post time-stamped and geotagged. When the agents finally caught up with them, it was almost anticlimactic. They were pulled from a rental car near Palm Springs, confused, defensive, then terrified. The agents called me to confirm ownership of the safe contents. I sent them the documentation, serial lists, receipts, my signed statement. By the time Mom called from jail, her voice wasn't sweet anymore. "You set us up," she hissed. "No," I said, "you set yourselves up. I just let you." Silence. Then the sound of her breathing, jagged, panicked. "I'm your mother." "You were." The funny thing about revenge is how quiet it feels once it's done. There's no music, no fireworks, no applause, just calm. The house I'd wanted, I bought it. Not because of the money, but because I finally felt free enough to walk through its doors without looking over my shoulder. Sometimes I sit on the porch at sunset and think about that last laugh, the one that started when I saw the empty safe. I think about how they must have celebrated, counting fake hundreds in a cheap motel, believing they'd won. And I think about how I spent that same night signing the final paperwork for my new life. They taught me the value of trust. I taught them the price of betrayal. And in the end, we all got exactly what we deserved.